as a realtor, let's say you meet clients, they tell you they're interested in looking at maybe one of the listings that you have. So you meet them at that point. Let's just imagine at that point you and they begin to get along so well that they decide they'd like to have you help them find the home that they want. So can we talk a little bit about what would happen next? What's likely to be the progression?
So that would be, you're talking about a dual agency situation. Well, it has to be agreed upon by both parties that they're comfortable with me representing both individuals, buyer and seller. If they're not comfortable with that, then we need to get another agent in to represent the buyer. Since initially I represented the seller, I will always represent that seller.
Mm-hmm. So you must have some sort of conversation with that, about that with that buyer, mm-hmm. letting them know that you're, is it correct to say that your loyalties then would have to remain with the seller?
My loyalties cannot be with either party in a dual agency situation. I am just there as a facilitator, because I have to be careful about information I know about both parties and making sure that they don't give somebody an advantage over the other. Can't do that, and that's not in their best interest, and it certainly is a conflict of interest for me.
Let's say you have a listing and you've met some qualified buyers and they love your listing. Now you have this conversation and you let them know that initially the seller was your client, remains your client, and now you're not able to actually represent, am I wrong about this, that you're actually not able to represent the seller as well if you also represent the buyer at the beginning at that point?
Correct.
So you're going to inform the buyer of that, you're also going to have to inform the seller of that. Mm-hmm. And in that situation, do you make a recommendation or just provide the information and let everybody make their choices?
Well, a situation like this just happened a little over a week ago. Somebody called me, wanted to see a listing I had up on the north side, and so I met him there. He was comfortable with me. He wanted to make an offer through me, and so I told him the situation. We need to have everybody in agreement with that. And he said, that's fine. So I went to the sellers, and we talked about it, and they were a little bit uncomfortable, mostly because they didn't, it was a VA offer, and they weren't sure about a VA offer. They were just not comfortable with that. And so I proposed to them, I said, well, if you're not comfortable with the VA offer and all the arms and legs that are part and parcel to that, and I want to make sure I represent you the best I can, then I should probably only represent you, and we should get another agent involved for the buyer.